My goal is that you guys associate great side dishes with feeding the birds. All right, friends, we are going to make this corn black bean salad. You could call it salad, you could call it salsa, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to serve it as a side. You could absolutely dip chips in this though. We are going to start this recipe by making the dressing. So I've just got a bowl here that we're going to put everything into, and we are going to start by a tomato rolling off the counter. Okay, we are going to start here with 2 tablespoons of sugar. And you could do this in a dressing bottle if you want to. That seems like a lot of sugar. Let's do 1.5 tablespoons, okay? Because you guys know we prefer savory, so we're gonna change things up just a little bit. So 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. And we are going to add 2 tablespoons of vinegar. So I've just got my white vinegar here. Let's add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And you could use whatever kind of oil you like. You guys know we usually prefer just regular olive oil. We do need 1.5 tablespoons of lime juice. I'm gonna add that in as well. And you could go a little more on this, you could go a little less, just depending on how you feel about lime juice. You need about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, about a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, which we love cumin. I'm not gonna measure that one. We really do love cumin, so I'm just gonna add that in. And approximately also a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. It smells really good already. You guys know I love these flavors. Let's mix all this together. One thing you could do if you're really concerned about your sugar not dissolving is heat this over on your stovetop just a little bit until the sugar dissolves, then let it cool and use it as a dressing or marinade. It's completely up to you how you want to do this. Let's start to add in some of these other ingredients. You can use a can of corn. I actually happen to have fresh ears of corn, so I went ahead and just cooked this up, and then I just added it to a little bowl here. We're gonna put this whole thing in. If you were doing this, you would want 1 can of corn. Now, this looks a little bit weird too, but this is how Thrive market, instead of cans, this is how they do their black beans. So they're in a little packet like this. We're gonna open this up and we're going to drain and rinse these before adding them in here. All right, these are drained and rinsed. We're gonna add them in with that corn. You guys know most times these recipes call for onion. It actually calls for red onion. That purple onion would be really beautiful in here. Okay, let's add in a little bit of garlic. So I'm just gonna add about a 1/2 teaspoon or so. Now we're gonna start to add in some tomatoes. These are actually from our garden. I'm gonna cut them into quarters and just toss them in. I'm currently researching all of the fresh ingredient recipes because we have a good amount of stuff coming out of our garden at the moment, and I do not want any of it to go to waste. I'm going to chop up some cilantro. Again, if you don't like cilantro, you can still make this. Just use parsley, something like that, something green that's gonna add color. I really like cilantro. I think my daughter's the only one that doesn't care for cilantro. She will eat it, but she doesn't care for it. Comment down below, are you one of the cilantro lovers or are you a cilantro hater? What I've heard from you guys, now I love cilantro, but what I've heard from you guys is that if you don't like cilantro, it tastes like soap. Tell me below, are you one of those people? This is about maybe a 1/4 cup or so it's gonna add. I mean, just beautiful color. That's it, guys. Look how easy that was to put together. All of these really beautiful, fresh ingredients. I'm so excited about this one. Let's give it a taste and see if it needs anything else. I'm thinking it might need some more salt, but let's just check it out. Yes, I do think it needs more salt. And again, I'm so glad I took some of that sugar out because you guys know we prefer savory. I say that all the time. All right, let's just top this off with a little bit more salt. Honestly, if I had to do it over again, I would probably only do 1 tablespoon of the sugar. I would go less sugar. If you're a sweet person, you're gonna like the sweetness of it for sure. It's definitely more of a sweet little salad or salsa. I'm just gonna cover this and put it in the refrigerator until we're ready to eat dinner. Friend, we have some okra from the garden. Look at all these, I'm so excited. Some of them were a little bit too big. When your okra grows too large, it just gets like really tough and you don't want to use it. So we are going to roast these, or I guess we're gonna air fry them. Let's say we're gonna air fry them. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut them in half, just like so. And then we'll just lay them out on our air fryer basket. Don't you think? Just like this.
I was gonna slice them.
do you mean? Oh, you wanna do half and half?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do some like this, and then some you wanted them sliced.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll cut the tail off pretty soon.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna try it a couple different ways. See how this turns out. Oh, you can tell this is a good one. That one's gonna be too tough, I think, but that's okay. All right, so we're gonna spray these with some olive oil spray. All right, and sprinkle the Auntie Nona's Everything seasoning. This is our favorite seasoning. I also really like the firecracker sea salt, but the kids think that one's too spicy. Okay, honestly, I have no idea how long to cook these, so this is gonna be a test subject here. So we're gonna let's do 380. I think that's a good temperature. And let's cook it for, let's start with 6 minutes, and then we're gonna move up from there. All right, we've got our okra. It took overall 11 minutes. So you needed longer than 6 minutes for sure. Some of these okra I let get too big in the garden. You wanna be really careful of that. If they get too big, they're just too tough. So we're gonna try this. Really good, really fresh. Perfect with that Auntie Nona's seasoning on it, which you get that salty flavor, but without it actually being fried in a batter. So I really like these. We love okra. You can do this exact same thing. Keep them whole and just throw them on your grill. Spray them with a little bit of olive oil or coat them with olive oil, top them with your Auntie Nona's seasoning, throw them on the grill. You don't even have to cut them and they're delicious. Tonight for dinner, we are making a 3-ingredient recipe that is so delicious. I mean, so delicious. And to go along with that, we are gonna make something that's gonna pair perfectly. If you wanna see that 3-ingredient recipe, check out this video right here. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Such an easy meal and it comes together so fast. To go with that, we are going to make a savory sweet potato. Now I know those two words seem like they don't go together, but I promise you they do. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to shred up some Parmesan cheese. You can buy this pre-shredded and that is completely fine. I'm not gonna use all of this cheese right away because we are gonna use some of it when the sweet potatoes come out of the oven. We need around 4 tablespoons or so. Now, if you get this grated, tiny little grated, it's probably gonna be easier to get this to stick, but it's completely fine either way. Let's add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I've got some Italian seasoning here. Let's add around 2 teaspoons. Now, another thing that you can do, that actually I think I'm going to, the recipe that I'm making this to go with has Italian dressing packet seasoning in there. We have some left over. I'm gonna add some to this. Just a little bit, maybe ½ teaspoon or so. And we are gonna add just a little bit of salt. This is really to taste. Let's mix this together. And then we're gonna chop up our sweet potatoes. And the sweet potatoes are gonna get tossed in this mixture. Okay, I'm just gonna dice these. I am gonna peel them, but you do not have to. If you don't mind the skins, feel free to leave the skins on. Okay, now that we have these peeled, we're gonna dice them into, I don't know, like half-inch size pieces, 1/4-inch pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and just toss them right into that bowl that has the, oh, oven's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and toss them right into the bowl that has the mixture that we just made up. Now that we have all of that done, let's just start to toss this together until those sweet potatoes get nicely coated. We wanna make sure especially that they get olive oil on them because it just really helps them in that cooking process and it adds such good flavor. It just brings out the flavor of sweet potatoes. This is a lot of sweet potatoes, by the way, so if you don't wanna make that many, that's totally fine. You can absolutely make less. But I know how much my family likes sweet potatoes, and actually this is our only side to go with dinner tonight, so I wanna make sure that we get plenty of that. I'm covering my baking sheet with parchment paper because I feel like it just makes for easier cleanup. And we can toss these out onto the baking sheet, and I'm gonna try and get somewhat of a single layer, at least make an attempt. Perfect. But I feel like they cook a little better if you have somewhat of a single layer. All right, so you guys heard my oven. It is preheated to 400 degrees. These are gonna take in between 25 and 30 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and pop those in and let them get roasting. Sweet potatoes just came out of the oven. They look perfect. We're gonna take them off and put them in a serving dish. They're kind of sticking together with that cheese, but I'm not hating that. I do want to add a little bit more Parmesan cheese to the top. And I just cut up a few green onions just for color to add in here. All right, let's try one and see how these are. They just came out, so they're super hot. They're sweet, obviously, because it's a sweet potato, but then you get that savory element with that Parmesan. Absolutely delicious. I think that everybody is really gonna like these. I am excited to eat them. All right, friends, I hope that you enjoyed these side dishes. I know that we did. I've got more side dishes coming at you. You guys know I try and do these every single month. You're gonna get more and more of these, so stay tuned. If you like this video, check out this one right here. You need more side dish inspiration, this is your video. I've got an entire playlist where you've got side dish after side dish after side dish. You are not gonna get bored here. Hope you're having a great week.
This one?
You don't need to, just when we get out there.
Oh, every time. I'm gonna let this serve as a reminder in editing to get a new peeler because that one is terrible. Our verse this week comes from Philippians 4:9. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you.